Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take complex stuff, break it down, and give you what you need to know. Today, we're diving into a really interesting area. It's growing fast, but it's often, misunderstood. Professional webcam modeling. And just to be clear, we're not here to comment on it morally or anything like that. Our sources, like Digital Entertainment Insights, actually frame this as a, quote, thriving industry. A real path to, financial independence for some, and even a unique kind of creative expression.
Absolutely. Our mission here for you, the listener, is purely analytical. We're looking at this like any other career path, thinking about business, logistics, strategy. And I think the first big takeaway is just how versatile this platform is. It's not just one thing. You've got specialized content, companionship. It's really a self-directed digital business, much broader than the stereotype.
Exactly. So if you're maybe looking for something flexible, something with potentially high earnings, maybe even just a side hustle that could grow, this deep dive is basically for you. We're treating it almost like a startup blueprint. What do you need? What's the plan?
Okay, so let's jump straight into that blueprint. The most useful thing we found was this 5-phase Road to Pro snapshot. It maps out the whole journey, from starting out, zero experience, to becoming a successful owner-operator. Having that structure is key.
Right. Let's break down those early phases. Phase 1, the entry point. Because the barrier here is, it's almost nothing, financially speaking. This is the exploration phase. First couple of weeks, maybe, investment. Maybe up to $50. Mostly just your time, like 5 hours of prep, you're just looking around, scouting platforms, figuring out demographics, verifying your ID, and really trying to nail down a specific niche.
And crucially, your income goal at this stage, zero. It's all about laying that groundwork, the research. Then you move to phase 2. That's the setup and soft launch, usually in your first month. This is where you make your first real, though still small investment, say $300 to $600 for the basic gear.
Okay, so the essentials to look professional right off the bat. A decent webcam, 1080p, right, like the Logitech C920 everyone mentions, a basic ring light, maybe, for good lighting, and a simple USB mic so you sound clear. And the goal here shifts, right? It becomes about performance metrics. You're aiming for, 10 paying viewers each session consistently. Hit that, and the potential income is actually pretty solid for starting out. Maybe $200 to $700 a month net.
Yeah, that's the target range. Now, phase 3 is where things really start to pick up steam. That's audience building, months 2 and 3. Now your focus shifts. It's all about consistency, showing up regularly, and outreach. You might spend a little bit here, maybe $50 to $200, on things like social media ads or maybe some content templates to save time. The strategy is really about locking in a schedule, using social media as funnels and making your streams more interactive, games, polls, that sort of thing.
Hold on, social media funnels. So let's clarify that. You mean using platforms like Instagram or TikTok, posting free content there, like cool photos on Instagram, short clips on TikTok, to basically draw people over to your paid streaming platforms. It's a conversion strategy.
Precisely. It's a system to turn casual lookers into actual paying customers. And your KPIs, your key performance indicators, in this phase are pure business metrics. You want, say, 2,000 active followers and maybe a 15% repeat customer rate, getting people to come back. If you hit those marks, that level of engagement, your monthly income target moves up significantly, somewhere between $700 and $2,000.
Okay, that sounds good, but that jump to phase 4 sounds like a big leap. What percentage actually make that transition successfully? Because phase 4 seems like where it gets serious.
It is a massive leap, you're right. And that's why phase 4 optimization, which happens around months 4 to 6, is all about specializing, honing your craft. You're probably upgrading your gear again, maybe spending another $150 to $300, thinking about things like a softbox lighting kit, those professional lights that give you really smooth, diffused light. No harsh shadows, or maybe an external capture card so your computer doesn't lag when you're streaming in super high quality. The focus shifts entirely to maximizing high-value interactions.
Right, so less about just raw viewer numbers and more about VIPs, private shows, maybe setting up fan clubs, doing custom content requests.
Exactly. You're optimizing for profit per interaction, not just volume. Your KPIs here might look like getting 100 paid subscribers who pay monthly, or maybe having a single night where you get, say, $250 in tips. When you start hitting those kinds of high-value targets consistently, your potential monthly earnings jump again. Now you're looking at the $2,000 to $5,000 range.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Phase 5, diversification. Month 6 onwards, you're not just a performer anymore. You're becoming an owner-operator. This might involve a bigger investment, right? Maybe $800 to $1,500 for things like building your own custom website, Or using what they call a turnkey solution, basically a pre-built site that handles payments and users for you. The goal is, what? More control, more revenue streams.
Both. Security and diversification. The ultimate goal here might be something like 500 regular subscribers across all platforms. And having, say, 5 distinct revenue streams active at the same time. That could be your main platform, your custom clip store, maybe selling merchandise, premium memberships. When you reach that level of scale, that multi-channel approach, your monthly net income should be solidly $5,000 plus. You've essentially built a small digital empire from, your home office.
But building that empire, it rests on having the right foundation. Let's talk about the requirements, starting with the tech checklist. I was really struck by how specific the sources get. They don't just say, get a good camera. They're like, start with a Logitech C920. That's specific.
Because video and audio quality are like the first filter. If your stream is laggy or you sound like you're in a tin can, people just click away instantly. It's non-negotiable. So beyond that good webcam, you absolutely need an external microphone. Something like a Blue Yeti is a common recommendation. Crystal clear audio. Professional lighting is key too, whether it's ring lights or softboxes. And the thing people often forget, a rock-solid, high-speed internet connection. Stable. Lag is the enemy.
And software matters too for looking professional. Things like OBS Studio, right?
Yeah.
For managing different camera shots or putting graphics on screen. And using a green screen can make a huge difference. Lets you have custom backgrounds, change the whole vibe without needing a fancy set.
Definitely. Okay, so that's the hardware. Now let's pivot to let's call it the internal operating system, the soft skills. This job demands things that, well, most jobs don't prepare you for. Yes, it builds communication skills, but it's more specific. It's about managing hundreds of real-time interactions, often chaotic ones, all at once.
Yeah, and the sources really stress that this kind of environment, it forces you to build self-confidence.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself out there constantly.
Yeah.
But the absolute must-have trait seems to be emotional stability, resilience. You're under a microscope and you will get negative comments or interactions. You have to be able to handle that without letting it shut you down. Thick skin, professional distance.
And adaptability is huge, which brings us back to that example, Emma. She had a software background, and she used that skill, which you wouldn't normally connect to this job, to create unique interactive games for her stream. That adaptability, leveraging her specific skills, is what helped her break into that top tier. It shows strategy matters just as much as personality.
Okay, shifting back to the practical side, safety and control. These are actually big benefits people might not think about. You control your physical space, working from home. But maybe more importantly, the platforms give you digital control, things like geo-blocking. So you can block entire countries or regions from even seeing your stream. Helps protect anonymity.
And you have immediate control within the stream itself. Mute buttons, ban hammers, you can kick out disruptive people instantly. It lets you maintain a positive space for the viewers who are actually supporting you.
That control idea leads right into the business side, the CEO mindset. Marketing and branding are not optional here. Your online persona is your brand. And consistency is everything. So you need a strategy. Maybe Instagram for those polished photos, TikTok for short, catchy videos to pull people in, Twitter for quick updates, talking to fans, building loyalty.
And choosing where you stream is a major strategic decision. The platforms are different markets. Chatterbait, for instance, huge traffic, lots of amateurs, good for broad exposure maybe. Live Jasmine is positioned as more premium, higher quality streams, often higher paying clients. My Free Cams, that one's only for female models, and it's known for having a strong community feel. Picking the right platform is like picking your target customer base from day one.
And engaging viewers needs to go beyond just being on camera. To really scale this into a business, you need more advanced stuff, like loyalty programs for regulars, sending personalized messages to big tippers, making them feel seen, and eventually, maybe even merchandise, t-shirts, mugs, whatever. Boost your brand, add another income stream.
Right, and all this scaling, all this business activity brings us to the really crucial part, legal and financial stuff. As a model, you're almost always an independent contractor, not an employee. That means you, and only you, are responsible for tracking all your income and paying your taxes. Self-employment taxes.
Yeah, this needs underlining. You are running a business, you need to track everything. Tools like QuickBooks can be essential, every dollar in, every dollar out. But the flip side is those expenses are often deductible, right?
Exactly. That's the upside of being a contractor. Business expenses are things that are ordinary and necessary for this business. You can deduct them. That includes your camera, your lights, your mic, software subscriptions. And significantly, if you have a dedicated space in your home that you only use for streaming regularly and exclusively, you can deduct a portion of your rent or mortgage, home office deduction. That turns necessary costs into tax write-offs.
Okay, and legally, protection is key. First off, age verification. You absolutely have to be 18 or older, prove it with ID. That's universal. Second, you really need to read the contracts with the platforms carefully. Look for things like exclusivity clauses. Does signing with them mean you can't stream or sell content anywhere else? That's huge.
And it's also about protecting your own work. Your intellectual property, your videos, your photos, that's your original content. You own the copyright. As you grow, you might need to actively protect it. Maybe trademarking your stream name or logo, and maybe using legal services, even online ones like LegalZoom, to help with contracts or IP issues.
Now, I can imagine some listeners hearing all this, the accounting, the SEO, the legal contracts, and thinking, whoa, that's a lot. There is another route, right? Joining a webcam studio, it's often misunderstood, but it offers a different kind of support structure.
Yeah, it completely changes the dynamic. Studios you hear names like Studio 20 or Jasmine Studio, which is linked to Live Jasmine, or Charm Studios, they act like accelerators, especially for newcomers. They provide a ready-made professional setup, high-end equipment, proper sets, often training and mentorship too.
And they handle a lot of the back-end stuff, the logistics. They can be overwhelming if you're solo. Technical support, getting the lighting right, best camera angles, financial management, they often handle payments, accounting, sometimes even help with taxes. It lets the model focus more on just the performance aspect.
Plus, studios have their own marketing power. They already have established channels to promote their models. So if you're just starting out, joining a studio can mean getting significant exposure much faster than you likely could on your own. Leads to quicker income potential.
Okay, but there has to be a catch. What's the trade-off? They take a cut, right? A percentage of your earnings for providing all that infrastructure and support.
Exactly. That's the deal. Studios typically take a significant percentage, so you have to weigh that against the benefits, the guaranteed setup, the support, the marketing boost. Sometimes studios even offer a base salary, which gives you income security that you wouldn't have going solo, especially at the start. It's that classic entrepreneurial dilemma. Do you want 100% of a potentially smaller pie initially, or a smaller percentage of a potentially larger, faster-growing pie with less hassle?
It really comes down to individual preference and goals.
Ultimately, yeah. Success in this space, whether solo or studio, it really boils down to a mix. Charisma, yes, but also smart strategy, serious consistency, and that entrepreneurial drive. Look at the success stories we found. Rachel, who used her earnings and her brand to launch a cosmetics line, completely separate business. Or Lily, who didn't just pay off loans, she actually funded her own tech startup. It shows the skills you build here: customer relationship management, resilience, branding, time management. They're highly transferable business skills.
It makes it crystal clear. This isn't passive income. Not even close. It's running a business. Requires real dedication, planning, thinking like a CEO, whether you're on your own or with a studio.
And building on that final phase, that diversification idea, think about the ultimate ceiling here. Our sources touch on this. The foundation you build, it isn't just about making good money now. The material explicitly suggests the potential later on to, quote, start your own webcam site, grow your audience, take investment, and build a serious business. That hints at a path beyond just being talent. It suggests moving towards becoming a platform owner yourself, a tech entrepreneur. Now that opens up a whole other level of possibility, doesn't it? Something to really chew on.